So I just found out about a scam at the Cancun airport that I didn't know about. A subscriber reached out to me and shared their experience, so I definitely thought it was worth doing a video about. And maybe the bigger question is, why would you keep going to a place like Cancun when there's so many possibilities of scams? And you know what? It is a valid point. My answer to that is really any tourist place that you go, there's a possibility of getting scammed. I've followed travel vloggers for years and seen them explain different travel scams all over the world, especially Europe. But places like Cancun, when it's the biggest tourist destination or one of the biggest ones in the world, this is just part of traveling. And the key to avoiding scams is to be knowledgeable about them, which is why I'm making this video. In fact, last week I did a video about the top 5 scams at the Cancun airport, which I will link below in this video. This is basically how the scams work. Now I need to set up the fact that it was 2 girls traveling alone and it was very early in the morning, so like 5 or 6 a.m., which is when these things tend to happen. Also, this tends to happen late at night, just scams in general, because the airport is less busy, less people kind of watching over. Okay, so they pulled up to the airport, got out of the van, getting all their luggage together and started to go into the airport, where a man that looked very official, he had a clipboard, all the credentials, asked him which airline, and they said, told him which airline. He said, "Oh, you are actually in the wrong terminal. We need to take you over to the other terminal. I'm so sorry, that this happened." And the girls were like, "Oh," but they were checking. They're like, "No." He's like, "I know, but they change sometimes." So basically, it all happened very quickly, and before they knew it, all of their luggage, everything was swept over into another van, and they started kind of driving around in circles, and they could tell that something was wrong. The guy went as far to even ask them what resort they were staying at and saying, like, "We need to report this taxi service because they took you to the wrong terminal." And before they knew it, they realized that they were in a scam. So they said it was going to be $200, 200 pesos for the ride, something along those lines. They had no money on them. So he demanded a credit card. And then they ended up charging like $3,000 on the credit card. And this is someone that's traveled there before. She's been to Cancun many times, but it was early in the morning. She wasn't thinking straight, and it seems very legit. But do not talk to anybody at the Cancun airport. This goes for Punta Cana. This goes for Jamaica as well. Do not talk to anybody that you don't know. In fact, this is another great reason why to arrange private transportation. Something like this has never happened to me because it's always Nacho dropping me off, and he's not going to leave the airport until he sees me get into the airport. Now, things can happen, once you get into the airport, but I know better. I'm not going to let anybody touch my bags. That was something I mentioned in the other video. No one's touching my bags. I'm not talking to anybody. I'm going to go right to security and get to my gate. So that's why I stress so much about pre-arranging private transportation, because most companies will do the same. They are not going to leave until they see you safely into the airport, and they know that these scams happen, and they want to make sure that you are not falling into that. Now, this made me think of a similar scam that I did not talk about in the other video when you arrive to the Cancun airport. That is, if you do have to go to another terminal to meet like a group, you should be on the official shuttle. The airport has a free shuttle that goes around to each terminal. But what's happening is they're taking advantage of tourists. They're seeing people that want to go to the other terminals, and they are charging tourists to go there, taxis, whatever it is. So you just want to make sure that you are always in the right shuttle, the official shuttle. You do not have to pay for anyone to take you from terminal to terminal. And that goes for departing as well. If you get to the airport and you find out that you're at the wrong terminal, which has actually happened to me in the US, never happened to me in Cancun, you can still jump on that free shuttle that will take you to the other terminals. And this can actually happen at any airport where there's an influx of tourists, like Punta Cana, Jamaica. I've actually heard of stories of this before. So I do hope you found this helpful. I would love to hear if you have any of your own airport stories in the comment section below, because again, to avoid scams, you have to be knowledgeable about them. And this video is not meant to scare anyone from going to Cancun. In fact, I've been there over 20 times and really only had that one issue because I educate myself. So that's what this video is really about, and hope to educate you, because again, when you know about the scams, then you can avoid the scams. And I hope you subscribe to my channel. I do have exciting travels coming up. I have an active Facebook group too, which I will link in the description. Each week I do a live series where we cover different travel topics and just connect. And you can also find me on Instagram and TikTok.